Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Kelly with Signature Solar, and today we've got some exciting news to share with you. We're here with George and Mike from Canadian Solar today to talk to us about the EP Cube. Could you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you do?
Sure, I'll start first. My name's George Quill. I'm the Product Enablement Director for Canadian Solar.
Thanks. I'm Mike Jolly. I'm the Senior Product Manager for the support team for the EP Cube.
Thank you guys for being here and having this discussion with us today. George, can you briefly describe the EP Cube and tell us about your core mission to renewable energy?
Sure, happy to. So EP Cube is one of the newest member of our product family for Canadian Solar. Canadian Solar, as you probably know, is one of the top module manufacturers in the world, but we also participate in energy project, asset owner, as well as a variety of products we have. With a focus on more and more on energy storage, EP Cube is our solution for residential storage products.
Okay. It's pretty exciting as I look into it. How can the EP Cube integrate with systems that are already in operation?
Yeah, so we look at EP Cube as a way to address all different type of scenario our customer will have, and when they try to figure out what's the best solution for home energy storage solutions, right? In our emphasis on compatibility and flexibility, we designed the system such that it can control and support DC coupled type of system and AC coupled type of system. And just to briefly explain, DC coupled system means that I can control the PV system up on the roof to harvest energy and put it into storage. AC coupled system, it could mean that you have existing PVs already with different brand of inverters or microinverters. We can support that as well.
With the AC coupled system?
With AC coupled system.
Okay, but the PV modules themselves, you can incorporate with any of those? Yeah,
so first of all, Canadian Solar, as I mentioned, we manufacture PV modules. So we know all about PV module, and hopefully you are installing it with our modules on top. But yeah, so from the PV panels on the roof, it generates a DC current and DC powers. And for us to manage that, we can do things like expanded PV array to up to 2-to-1 DC to AC ratios. We can support the very latest and near future module in terms of technology, currents and powers and stuff like that. All that come into the front end part of our EP Cube, our inverter side of things. And we'll convert that into energy that we can store, as well as energy we can use for home.
And I will say that Canadian solar panels are definitely highly rated among our customers. So thank you for your products there. Mike, what sets EP Cube's solar components apart from other brands in the market?
Yeah, so the EP Cube is a very different system than a lot of the others you see on the market. It's a tall, slender, modular system that is easy to install, easy to move around. It's very flexible. You can choose only the size you need, not necessarily just the size we offer at 3.3 kilowatt hour increments. Starting at 9.9 kilowatt hour, you can go up to 13.3, 16.6, 19.9. Then you can go to multiple hybrid installations where you can go all the way up to 120 kilowatt hours. So very flexible, very robust, and also easy to install is really how we're different than most of our competitors.
And easy to upgrade as well, from what I understand.
Yep, that too. So within your first couple of years, if you bought a 9.9 and let's say you did an expansion on your home and you wanted to double that and you wanted to go up to a 19.9, you could easily do that. Later on, if it's beyond the integrated period, you could add another hybrid stack and go to multiple hybrids later on during the cycle.
Okay, and I want to talk about that a little bit more later on in our interview. But I would like to ask if you could walk us through the general steps of installing an EP Cube component.
Yeah, so the EP Cube, right out of the gate, from the time you're unboxing the unit, pulling the boxes off the delivery truck, our boxes all have integrated handles. They're all very easy to handle with 1 or 2 people. You can move. We don't have a single component that's over 100 pounds. So even in the box, our hybrid, as you unbox it, it weighs 77 pounds. You can move that. The battery modules themselves, they only weigh 70 pounds. So if you need to move this into an area that is across some dirt or something like that, you can just carry it over there. You don't need any kind of special handling equipment. So that makes it really easy to put where you want to put it and not have to make special arrangements to get that installed. You just stack the units up. They're integral wiring, so you don't have to have electrical jumpers and a lot of other things when you go to put them in. So very quick, easy to install, flexible, easy to manage system.
I'm used to carrying dog food bags, so it sounds like something even I can do.
Yeah, I have 3 dogs of my own, or, the big dog food bag is always a big thing. My wife is always saying, can you get the dog food? So, yeah, it feels, and unlike the dog food, which is really hard to carry, we have little handles on the side. So it's kind of like lifting a barbell at the gym. It's really easy to lift up something that's 70 pounds. Rather than a 70-pound dog food bag that's really hard to lift.
Right. Sounds good. What are some tips and tricks that you could offer for a smooth installation?
Yeah, so being prepared before you actually hit the installation site for an installer. Your installers, they're going to want to do the unboxing, and they're going to want to be prepared before they roll up onto the customer site. If you're installing on the side of a hill over dirt with grass and you're pulling the screws out of the bags and stuff like that, that's not ideal. What you want to do is have the units unboxed. Like I said, you could go out there with a small car with a unit in the trunk of the car, pull it out of the trunk, bring it over with it prepped for installation. Doing the unboxing, putting the little brackets together, tracking the screws, having all that ready to go. I also recommend a gateway, under the gateway, to have a gutter, a wireway, and cut your chases, your 2-inch chases between, have all that stuff prepped. Really allows the site installation to go very quickly. When you hit the site ready to go, these units install really, really quickly. Don't show up and start cutting open the boxes and start reading the instructions on the site. It's my best advice.
You don't want to lose those screws.
Yeah.
If I may add just a little bit to that, is I also recommend the designer take a look at the house, do a quick load calculations to make sure you don't undersize the system, right? Because a lot of the time, people tend to use every kilowatt hours of energy they have. So let's make sure you do a quick systems load calculation and size it right.
That's a good tip. Thank you. If somebody was interested in seeing if they could actually install the EP Cube, or they were interested in finding out more about it, do you have any video content available to help somebody who's just doing some research?
Yeah, we have installation videos. We have a lot of content out there on the web, some YouTube content. There's a lot of information that's available on the web that we can look at, and you'll get a real good feel for what the system is, what it can do just by looking at the content on the web. We also have full installer training that's web-based. So once your installers decide that this is the product they want, they can make a small time investment and become certified installers right on the web.
Okay. So I'm not an installer. I'm a DIY person. Am I able to install this without having to go
Yes.
through an installer?
Yeah, you can install it yourself. You will need to go through the installer training to gain access to the software that allows you to commission the system. So you want to do that, and you'll want to understand so you don't miss any of the steps. It's very clearly explained in our installation videos. You can go through that as a DIYer. Then you'll get actually certified to be a EP-Cube installer, and then you can install your own system.
Okay. So in order to install my system and commission my system, I would need to go through the training, and then I would have all the access that I need to be able to set it up and commission my system.
Yes, yes.
Very cool. About how long is that training?
Training, it can take a couple hours to go through. It's a fairly thorough training. We want to make sure you understand the best aspects of the system and give you enough knowledge so you're best positioned for a successful installation.
Okay. I went through that training. I thought it was very clear and things were explained well, and I didn't feel like it took very long. It was entertaining and educational. So
Well, good.
thank you guys for
Glad to hear
offering that. Are there any remote monitoring features that come with the EP-Cube to enhance user control and convenience?
Yeah, absolutely. The installation side and the user side are all available for your phone. And we have a phone app that you will use to commission the system. And then once it's commissioned, you will continue to use that same application that shows exactly what the system is doing. And if you decide that you want to change a mode, you can do that remotely. Let's say you're on vacation and then you hear that there's a big storm that's passing through your home. You can actually remotely go through and switch it from self-consumption to backup mode to ensure that the battery will be available in the event that your home loses power.
So I can do that even when I'm out of the country.
Even as long as you have access to connection, cell service on your phone, you can do that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What kind of information does the app give me to be able to monitor what I'm doing?
Yeah, the app has lots of information. It will show what power is coming in from the grid. It will show what power is coming in from your PV sources. It will also show what power is going out to your backed up system, as well as a non-backup if you're doing partial home backup. It will show you how much power is going to your EV charger. It will show you if you've got a generator, how much power is coming in from the generator. All of it shows how much has happened for that particular day, as well as instantaneously what it's doing for the moment. And then there's a little graphical interface that shows little green bubbles flying across the screen that show which direction power is going, because you don't always know whether the power is coming into the battery or where it might be going out of the battery, or where the power is coming in from the grid or it might be going out to the grid. So it's very user-friendly and it's easy to understand and it's very informative.
Okay, sounds exciting. What about upgrades?
Yeah, you can, let's say you decided you wanted to get in at 9.9 kilowatt hours, the smallest system we have, and then after a couple months you realized, oh, this was not adequate. I'm not collecting all my PV before I'm putting it out to the grid. You want to collect more of your solar generation. Or you're not making it through the night. You're having to pull in grid power before you make it through the night. You can upgrade that 9.9 up to a 19.9 under the same hybrid inverter. If you need more than that, you can actually install an additional hybrid inverter and 19.9 or any increment from 9.9 to 19.9, and then run that under the same gateway. So very flexible system. It's like little small building blocks, and you just decide what kind of city you want to build there, and you create your little power.
Now, I have heard that your installation process is very simple as you go through and include things in the app. How does that work?
Yeah, so when you're going to do your physical installation, you'll put your additional batteries or additional hybrids under your system and get it ready to go. And then you'll recommission the system, and you'll go into the same app that you used when you first commissioned the system, and you will go through and you'll add the components, and the app will walk you right through it. So we have a little little bar at the top that shows you where you're at, and you'll just want to start at the beginning again and go back to recommission the system and just go back through and just follow the little bars, and it'll walk you right through it.
Takes you through step by step.
It sure does.
And it's as easy, from what I understand, as scanning a QR code and it puts that device in.
Yep. You can go in and it'll prompt you for the QR code. You scan it, it'll input the numbers for you so you don't have to type them all in automatic or all in manually. And then it'll ask you for some pictures. We want to see some pictures to show, what the unit looks like, where it's installed, and you'll go through and submit your pictures, submit the QR codes, and then your system will be commissioned.
Sounds pretty simple. How about, I know a lot of companies are updating their firmware pretty often. How does that work with the EPQ?
Yeah, we have on-the-fly, over-the-wire firmware updates that will happen automatically. So assuming you have your system set to automatically update, which we prefer, the system will update automatically and typically happens overnight and you don't even realize it. I have one at my house and I don't know how many times it's been updated. I've never been interrupted from an update.
Okay. So automatic updates.
Yep, automatic updates.
Keep watching for them and make sure.
You don't have to worry about it. It'll just happen if that's the way you have it set.
Right. And we need to do that for updating the latest technology into the firmwares. So, yes, part of a requirement.
Good. I know efficiency is a big talk in the solar industry. How efficient are your components? So tell us about the efficiency of the EP Cube.
Yeah, so the EP Cube has a benefit of being a DC coupled system, which is the most efficient way to collect your solar. You bring it in DC off the roof and you go straight through our controller and right into our battery, straight in DC. And then you don't actually convert it to AC until you come out. And then you use your AC power. So you go through a single trip conversion, which is a 94% efficient, which you lose about 4 points of efficiency if you go through the DC to AC and back again.
Okay, 93%. That's most other components or most other inverters around about 90% from what I hear. Is that about
if you're, let's say you're using a microinverter on the roof and you're coming in AC, it's already gone from DC to AC on the roof. And then you're going to come in on AC and then you're going to charge the batteries to DC. So you're going to go AC to DC. And then when you use the power, you're going to go back from battery, which is DC, to AC again. So you've made 3 conversions. And when you go through that cycle, you're down at 88, 89% efficiency. You lose about 4 points of efficiency when you go through that if you're doing an AC coupled. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've got an existing system and you want to AC couple, you don't have to DC couple. We offer both options, DC or AC coupled.
Okay.
Yeah, if I put it in even more simpler way, battery runs on DC.
Yes.
Right. So you know automatically if I just operate in the DC mode, charging and discharging, it's a lot efficient than I need to convert the energy from AC into DC, then charge a battery, or vice versa. You got to convert the battery power into AC, go back up. Right. So inherently, DC coupled system like what we can do is more efficient.
Okay. Efficiency means a lot when you're talking about energy for sure.
Yeah.
Does weather affect the efficiency ratings? Does it?
The weather doesn't affect the efficiency rating, but weather creates a problem for energy storage system as well. Temperature, cold and hot, is not really good for energy storage system. What we do with our system is first of all, our enclosure are NEMA 4X, right? So that's rain, light corrosions, and weatherproof. So our system can be installed outdoor, no problem. We also have a temperature rating to operate between minus 30 to 86 degrees. So that's pretty good for the typical environment. Obviously, it is a battery, so we would recommend that if you are try to avoid the straight sun. Just like you don't want to put your iPhone under the hot sun for too long, right? So temperatures, especially heat, is the one that you should be cared for, even though we are doing a lot of stuff that to help you alleviate that. I know earlier we're talking about efficiency stuff, which is great points. But let me tell you a different aspect of efficiency is you put panels on the roof, right? Depends on what kind of space and direction your roof is facing. All the panels are not operating at the best, right? Therefore, people are looking at either microinverter or DC optimizer, stuff like that. What we also are doing for our customer is we have multiple MPPTs. That means I can run 4 strings on the different string, PV facing different part of a roof to get the most energy out of your system, without going to the costly microinverters or DC optimizer. So that's another way to look at how to improve your efficiency.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We also have arc fault. That's a nice little safety features, important for our consumers as our installer. It's been quite a bit of our focus on making the product efficient and useful for our consumer as well as our installer.
How about in safety features?
Safety features like, so I just talked about arc fault. Next thing is, if you in the US, you probably are familiar with the requirement of rapid shutdown, right? So we integrated a transmitter to support AP Smart or Tigo or any of the SunSpec compatible rapid shutdown devices. So embedded into our inverter, so you can install with the safety of a rooftop. Right?
And it comes built in.
It comes built in.
Nice. What are the best practices for maintaining EPQ products to ensure that they last as long as they possibly can?
Yeah, so it is an electronic component, and it does have cooling that you need to make sure that you're not stacking stuff around it and blocking the cooling. So the system needs to be cool, but there's not a tremendous amount of maintenance that's required. Just try and make sure that the unit is allowed to vent and it's not blocked is really the only maintenance that you really need to do to it. It's essentially maintenance free if you just don't create a problem for the unit.
Okay, we talk about depth of discharge a lot. What is the recommended depth of discharge for your batteries?
Yeah, so we recommend 20% as the lower limit, although I have one at my home and I run it down to 5% and it works fine. The warranty is, we have one of the best warranties in the business. 10 years, 6,000 cycles of battery down to, drain down and charge back up. And then at the end of 10 years and at the end of 6,000 cycle, we also guarantee 80% of the original battery capacity, which I don't know of anybody else that offers that.
So 10 years guaranteeing 80% of your capacity.
Yes. Yeah.
If I may add a little bit more to that on the depth of charge. So our battery, we can use 100% the full nameplate capacity. So if you have a 19.9 kilowatt hour system, you can use a full 19.9 kilowatt hours, right? We held something in reserve that you don't see, but nameplate value, you can use 100% of it. What Mike was talking about on the how much you drain down is more of a how you want to operate your house, right? Imagine if you run all the way down to 5% and then a storm comes and there's no electricity, well, you only have that 5% to use, right? That's typically the strategy about how much reserve you want to have, is guard against that kind of situation. But otherwise, yeah, you can use a full 100% of the nameplate capacity value.
Okay. So let's go back to capacity. We've got 7.6 kilowatt hours for 3 modules, 3 batteries?
9.9 kilowatt hours is the energy capacity. 7.6 kilowatts is the power capacity for our smaller unit. It's actually a little bit lower on the 3-stack for the power. And then you go up to a 6-stack, which is 19.9 kilowatt hours, and that one is 7.6 kilowatts. That's for a single stack. And then you can add hybrids all the way up to 6 hybrids with 6 batteries each for a maximum capacity of 45 kilowatts and 119.9 kilowatt hours, which would be a very, very large home.
What would you recommend for the average residence? 1-story, 3-bedroom home.
A very common size that gets you the benefit of the maximum single stack power output is 16.6 kilowatt hours is actually what I'm running at my own home. And that gives you plenty of power for most of what you're going to want to do. I learned the hard way that 9.9 is what I started with. I just wanted to buy the smallest one to just get into it. And I quickly realized I was not capturing all of my PV. I was still exporting some of my PV out onto the grid. In addition, at nighttime, I was running myself out of power at night to where if we would have had an outage, I wouldn't have had battery available. So I expanded and I now have a 16.6, and that gets me through the night without getting into grid power, and it captures all of my PV without putting it back out onto the grid. So I'm in full self-consumption mode. I'm essentially energy efficient, just being able to provide all my own power.
Which is where we all want to be, I think.
Yeah.
Be self-reliant. If someone is torn between choosing the EP Cube and another leading brand, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so really, especially from an installation standpoint, our competitors that have those big white heavy boxes that you have to deal with, I've heard many of the installers that I've talked to have injured themselves. These things weigh 300 pounds or so. And even with 3 or 4 guys trying to move these around, they get injured. They're extremely difficult to manage. And our unit, the heaviest component is 77 pounds, is easily maneuverable. You can put more than one battery in a car. I've carried batteries to remote sites and everything, so very easy to deal with and very flexible. The flexibility of being able to pick exactly the size you need. If you undershoot it a little bit, then you can add additional batteries. There's no harm in overshooting it, but you only have to buy what you need, not what they sell.
Yeah, if I may add on to that a little bit, it'll come down to value and cost, right? So when some of our competitors only sell one size, right? 16 kilowatt hours. If you need more, you have to buy 2 of them. If you need less, you still have to pay for that same price. Whereas EPQ is modularized, you can actually customize to what you need and pay for what you need, right? So that's from a cost effective. That's one big aspect. In the feature flexibility, what kind of system it can support, I don't think you're going to find too many similar capability out there. So our stuff will be easier for installer to use at different situations.
One of the things that I really like is that you can start small and add on to it as you feel like you can spend a little bit more here and there.
Yep.
So it's very easily upgradable. Been there, right. Are there any final thoughts or messages that you guys would like to share?
Yeah, I think going forward, you're going to need energy storage, right? That's the future that is coming today. I would encourage you to look at more and more of renewable energy, PV, and also harvest that energy so you can use it at night or different time by adding energy storage to get most value out of it.
And I want to add, we're here to support you. Company support. I have real people working on my team that are here to support Signature Solar and Signature Solar's customers.
Okay. George, Mike, thanks for being here today. Hope you guys enjoyed talking with our EPQ people today from Canadian Solar, and we've got more content coming to you soon.